Just a quick little thought today, and I make lots of these little videos and I don't share them. By the way, welcome to Whatsoever More or Less, channel that's named for uh, the doctrine of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, that whatsoever the Constitution, whatsoever is more or less than it calls for and permits, comes of evil. I'm just somebody who spent years studying, Ezra Taft Benson, H. Vernon Anderson, some David O. McKay here or there, Dallin H. Oaks definitely, and other stuff, and trying to understand the Constitution until I kind of broke through it, taking Constitution classes and stuff. So this is Citizenship Commentary. Okay, moving on here. Recent discovery, Lysander Spooner pointed this out the strongest, and I think he was around the Civil War era. And he was, I think, kind of more of a hardcore libertarian, almost anarchist type or something like that. Not really anarchist. It sounds like he supports the Constitution, but only in that it follows the laws of nature and of nature's God, which is, I understand that. I really do, actually. So that seems to be the implication of the Ninth Amendment, as a matter of fact, is that the laws of nature should be followed regarding the agency of your fellow man on all levels of government. It was John Marshall who introduced the doctrine that's inconsistent with the text of Amendments 2 through 9, that they only apply to limit the federal government's power. That's inconsistent with the text. It seems they apply to all levels of government, and that's what, Samuel Adams, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison would have told you. They're just common sense laws of nature and of nature's God in the first place. So, but anyhow, nowhere in the text of the Constitution, this is what Lysander Spooner pointed out, nowhere in there does it say the word slavery or slave. There's no endorsement of slavery. There are general protections for people who were owed service, and to get back the person who owes them service, right? And that's it. That's all that's in the Constitution. The wording is very vague, very general. Importation of persons, migration, and migration was a concept that I think the Constitution was intended to allow the federal government to deal with anyhow, just in general, immigration. And so, as a matter of fact, it seems to be one of the promises guaranteed that they would deal with it. So, this is neat to me. This is really neat to me, because I think there are some aspects of understanding obedience and disobedience to the laws of nature and of nature's God, or to God's laws, in other words, to eternal laws, that we need to understand. And tell me if you disagree, please. I'm waiting for anybody to start commenting on my videos. Nobody has done it yet. But to me, first off, if you're having a hard time perfectly obeying the laws of nature and of nature's God, which you're committed to it and you're trying to get there, you're not rebelling against them. Elder Hawes said when he came and visited us at the Payson, Arizona Stake Conference, he says, disobedience isn't the opposite of obedience. Rebellion is. Okay? So the opposite of obedience is rebellion. And had our founders directly put in something that so obviously violates the laws of nature and of nature's God, had they put in the word slavery and slaves and protections that directly protected it, that would have been rebellion against God's laws. And I don't think they could bring themselves to do it. So this is evidence to me that they are the kind of men that our scriptures say they were, right? Now, there's another aspect of it. If you are someone who struggles with imperfection in obeying God's laws, eternal laws, the laws of nature and of nature's God, the specifics, what have you, are you parading it around? Are you proud of it? Are you telling everybody and their dog, yeah, this is what I do, even though I shouldn't be doing it? Or are you even just saying, hey, they say I shouldn't be doing this, but I think I should be allowed to do it, right? If that's your attitude, you're already in rebellion. That is rebellion. So the founders weren't parading it around. It was like something they were embarrassed of. They didn't want it to continue to exist. They made the compromise for the sake of getting the union going. But the wording they put on it was very careful wording. There was no endorsement whatsoever, the concept of slavery. No endorsement of violating the laws of nature and of nature's God. And Thomas Jefferson, he never hit a point where he satisfied Virginia estate law, paying off all of his debt to where he could legally free all of his slaves. Because, just being a member of government doesn't mean he can automatically invent what the rules of government are. Duh, right? If men were angels, no government would be necessary. And if angels were the government, neither internal nor external controls would be necessary either, right? As Madison would say. So he never hit that point. But as soon as 1808 hit, he followed Article 1, Section 9, Clause 1, and immediately blocked the importation of any more slaves. They were doing what they could. They were imperfect. I think our doctrine is nobody's perfect. Nobody. We all need Christ. I need Christ really badly. And I'm guessing if you're watching this video, you do too. And Thomas Jefferson did too. Joseph Smith even needed him. Dallin H. Oaks. Moses. Noah. You name it, right? They all had their imperfections. But if you prayed them about, you're rebelling. But if you try to not parade them, not take pride in them, and when you tell other people that you endorse this law or that law, you're not endorsing a law that imposes force on them while simultaneously having no intention to even strive to follow it for yourself. And this is where I would, as a matter of fact, define a lot of our members of government as hypocrites, expecting us to follow laws that they pass through the Article 1, Section 7 process, when they aren't following the law that we gave them, that they took an oath to uphold, which is the limits of which kind of powers they're even allowed to exercise in the first place. That is the definition of a hypocrite. Okay, that was the big problem with the Pharisees, I think, to a certain degree in Jesus' mind, if you ask me. I'm kind of getting out there a little bit in the weeds, but I think I'm on the right path. You tell me. So again, I'm very impressed with our founders, that even while they were struggling with the issue of slavery, they didn't come right out and endorse its protections. They didn't say, I have the right to continue sinning this way, so just stay out of my way and let me keep sinning this way. They gave it like little kind of tangential ways of protecting the government from butting into it too much, but they hoped it would come to an end at some point, and that was really the truth of it. They were striving. So I'm very impressed, and I'm actually proud of that piece of our history, that when they could have written into the Constitution maybe the word slavery, they didn't. So anyhow, thanks again. Please comment again. I'm seriously interested in some conversation on this one, and yeah, please like and subscribe or whatever. I guess I really am trying to bring like thoughts that inspire people to take a little bit more confidence in studying the Constitution for themselves. It's a duty we've been given, and I've got all these books stacked up right now, all these different prophets and excerpts that I've got selected. I plan on scanning them real soon here, and then quotes on the Constitution that I'll just like start sharing too. There's some really neat ones in there, so from all sorts of different prophets. So all right, thanks you guys.